We are back on Morning Line. Thanks for joining us. Morris Beagle's with the Southern Hemp Expo. It's going to be in town this Friday and Saturday. I really appreciate you coming on. Interesting, and I think it's great that you guys are educating, getting it down here, because the South is ready. There it is on the screen is where it's at. 10 to 6 o'clock both days. Tickets on sale now. You can go to their website, www.southernhempexpo.com, or you can show up that day at the gate. Or also, if you can't get out there, I'll be out there, posting stuff, Facebook Live as well, showing you some of what's going on. And I think it's interesting if you have an interest in this. Let's go to Brian next. Brian, good morning.
Hey,
Brian.
It's kind of ironic that, I'll tell you what, Trump's FDA and Trump's FTC, they're less regulation. I'm telling you, if this had been happening during the previous administration, I think that they would be more intrusive and bothersome with regulations. I think they'd be bothered more. That's an ironic thing. And you think, oh, well, conservative administration, this and that. I'm an old Gold War Republican. So, the thing is, it's like you can take the Wild West Republican and just blend them with, environmentalism and good, soil and production of crops. Because Tennessee, we got a weird soil. Colorado, it really isn't the greatest soil either. Your good black soil is in the middle of the country, and we have a lot of flaxseed that's grown here. So I think that type of crop and tobacco, we got weird kind of crops that do well in Tennessee because we got a weird clay soil. So we got a lot of issues here, and I'd like to know what I'm going to get for my $25. I'm not going to pay the $150 if I go down. Have you got some displays or something?
Yeah, fill them in. Yeah, if you get in there and you're not going for the seminars. $25 to get in.
Yeah, so we've got 90+ booths representing about 100 companies.
Just different products, everything from CBD oil to clothing to...
Absolutely, covering the gamut.
Okay.
So we've got from bioplastics and composites to food, nutrition, ancillary businesses, soil amendment companies that are selling biochar and products for soil, harvesting equipment and other farm equipment. So we've got the whole gamut of everything that goes really into the industry. From product producers that have CBD products and food products to hemp guitars.
To hemp guitars.
Exactly.
What's the hemp on the guitar? Is it the hemp?
It's a body. So it's a biocomposite that's kind of built around a wood core.
Yeah, I remember I had a pair of jeans made out of hemp fibers. Yeah. I don't think I have them anymore.
This shirt's a hemp shirt.
That's a hemp shirt. Hey man,
I got hemp socks on too.
Okay. Not going to get you stoned, are they?
No.
No? So yeah, hemp doesn't do that.
But they feel good on my feet.
Yes. And as far as his comment just about regulation, deregulation, I know that, at the federal level, there's always still some uneasiness in a lot of these states that technically, federally, the law is a little different than states in Colorado and California and Oregon. And there's always but it does not look like the feds are necessarily enforcing some of those marijuana drug laws now, which they could swoop in if they wanted to. Now they're going to clash with the states that have approved it. But what's your take on that, on what you think the federal government is going to do?
Well, the federal government has been probably the biggest obstacle that we've had.
Yeah.
I mean, we've been able to import hemp products forever, really, and our farmers haven't been able to grow them, so they've been denied the opportunity to grow this crop and to make money from this crop, and we're bringing all this stuff in from outside of the country. But there's legislation that's plugged into the current farm bill that is being negotiated right now in Washington, D.C., and it's a bill that Mitch McConnell introduced, the Hemp Act of 2018, and it will pull hemp completely off the Controlled Substances Act. It will clarify it at the federal level that it is a regular agricultural crop, just like corn, wheat, soy, anything else. There will be probably some additional regulation on top of that that's put in at the state level, but what this does will provide states the opportunity to roll out these programs without the interference of the federal government, and hopefully that's going to pass. But we've got this thing in Washington, D.C. with everything going on right now, and will both parties, or both sides, come together and pass this farm bill, which has all kinds of stuff in it, from food stamps to immigration and all these things that we can never agree upon.
So, it
so
has to pass as a whole, and you never know what'll happen.
But it's this massive bill, and if it doesn't pass, what's going to happen is the 2014 Farm Bill will just kind of be re-upped and you know, they'll either keep pushing that down the road a little bit, or they'll re-up it for the next 5 years. And hopefully that's not the case. Hopefully we get this through here in the next month or so. I was hoping it was going to be done by September 30th, because that's the deadline. And if they were going to announce that, hey, the Farm Bill's passing like right before Southern Hemp Expo, would be a great thing. That was my prediction, but I think my prediction's going to
like
fall
you said,
flat.
They got a lot of other things going on in D.C. these days. Let's go next to Ann. Good morning, Ann.
Good morning. I've been plagued with arthritis and every ailment known to man, and 8 weeks ago followed my physician's advice and started looking for CBD oil. And I've been through 4 different stores, tried several different products before I found water soluble and 2 different types of creams that work for me. Can you briefly explain to the novice the different strengths and the different types of oils, I guess, that Tennessee does have to market, because there is a vast difference in the products that I have seen sold. The product in Murfreesboro is different than what I am seeing sold in Davidson County. I can buy smokable hemp in Murfreesboro, but I'm having more trouble finding it in Davidson County. There is a difference in the ointments that I'm finding in one store as compared to another store.
All right, hang tight on that, and good for, I think what you're doing, Ann, is what a lot of people have to do, unfortunately, as it's still such a young industry, is try through trial and error what works for her. And she's talking about, by the way, we're talking about CBD smoking, ingesting orally, but there are balms and salves that, you know, some people, kind of like Ben Gay, but it's got CBD oil in it that they'll rub that help them. That's a lot to cover for you. But I mean, what advice would you give her? Has she searches for something that's going to help her with that condition?
Well, this is a new industry, and there's companies popping up all over the place that are putting out products that are really good products to products that are not good at all. And the regulation, the compliance, the third-party testing, all of this comes into play.
Okay.
And, you know, it is confusing for the consumer at this point in time. And not all products work the same for different people. So I could be taking something that I get really good results from, and you could take the same product that your body might not react with.
But isn't CBD? Now I know it could be broader spectrum, but
CBD is CBD. That's a molecule.
Yeah.
So whether it comes from hemp or comes from marijuana or comes from hops, I mean, it can be, CBD can be derived from other plants other than just cannabis. That's another thing that people need to realize, that it's not, cannabis is not the only plant that CBD comes from.
Oh, that's interesting. I guess that makes sense, but cannabis is unique in that it has these other elements with it that can augment the CBD, right?
Exactly.
Including THC or excluding THC.
Right. And people who take products that have CBD in them that they get no relief or results from, it could be because it's an isolate, and the products that they are getting relief from is a full spectrum or a broad spectrum.
For a broad spectrum. Okay.
Right. And you really need to do some research online to find out, you know, who is this company? You know, do they have their whole supply chain and everything that goes into their product, how it's grown, how it's produced, how it's formulated? Do they have that information on their website? The
other thing I do is, like, see, because you're in the field, I'd like to ask you what brands you use, or I go, as opposed to ordering it offline, and you can do that. I go to a pharmacist that I know carries some of it, and I try to trust in him and ask him questions about it. I've gone directly to some of the various kind of health-related stores. There's some place called, the Turnip Truck is one of them over there in East Nashville, and it's a health store, and they've got products that I assume they've got Charlotte's Web and some of those others. I'm just trying to go someplace reputable. I know some of the growers now, and I ask them to recommend sources for me. You know, I can research online, but even then sometimes I wonder if, well, is what's written there actually accurate? I want to talk to someone real. I can talk to the pharmacist, I can talk to the person at the store, I can talk to the farmer. But not everyone can, I guess, do that firsthand.
Correct.
Okay, if you had to suggest to someone 2 or 3 things to look for when they're trying to determine whether or not a product they're buying is quality, what would you say look for? You were talking about testing, independent testing results.
Third-party testing.
Meaning that they send their product off, independent testing, and this third party tested and came back, yes, it does indeed have what they're saying it has in it.
Correct.
Okay, so.
And it can show the cannabinoid profiles of, it's got X amount of CBD, CBN, CBC, THC, what are all those percentages?
And third party, because not that I'd understand all of it, but if I know that third party tested it and came back that yes, it was accurate with what they're telling me, that's good enough for me there. Anything else? Any other? Yeah, I do worry sometimes about ordering something maybe out of Colorado, thinking, what if I've ordered one from a company that has it made out of marijuana instead of hemp and it's sent to me here? I don't know. Maybe I didn't notice it. Maybe it would say that, and then I take it here, and then I get high levels of THC.
Well, legally, we're not allowed to ship that stuff over the net.
Yeah.
Let's say the stuff that you're going to buy online is going to come from a company that's selling hemp-derived CBD.
Glad I asked you that. All right, let's take a break on that note. When we come back, Jackie, Joe, James, and others, stay there. We'll get to your phone calls. When we come back, this is a quick hour. It's our final segment with Morris Beegle. We'll be back right after this.
Everything